It's Indycar in 15, featuring the 1992 Indianapolis 500. Enjoy the best moments from one of the coldest and closest finishes in Indy history. Michael Andretti had a dominant car in a race that only saw 12 cars finish. But it was not to be for Michael. His misfortune, however, set up the best finish ever.
Start is a tense moment for each of these crews. Just before the start, John Paul's crew had the cowling off the top of his engine. All the work done on the cars could be erased in a second. Each of these cars have been fully torn down during the past week and reassembled. It seems more common at Indianapolis than any other place that a car will fail to start, especially considering the crisp, cold day here. Lynn St. James, Mario Andretti all concentrate. There was much speculation over the nature of the command that might be given to start the engines as we look at pole sitter Roberto Guerrero. Considering, of course, Lynn St. James' presence, in the 3 times a woman has been in the field, Speedway officials have always arranged the command so that it would end with the words, "Gentlemen, start your engines," and they have done it once again. Raul Boycel. Eddie Cheever in the front row. Now on this crisp and cold day, the coldest we can remember, Al Unser Jr. They'll give the engines plenty of opportunity to come up in temperature and be ready to go. The first of the safety cars begin to pull away. Pay attention to your very important job of bringing the field down. One car in trouble, the 36 car, unbelievable. Roberto Guerrero, the pole sitter, in trouble. No indication why this could have happened at all. We're only on the second parade lap, not even to the pace lap, and Roberto Guerrero spins the car. Talk about his bad luck here, Sam Posey. It struck again.
He has been on an emotional roller coaster throughout the month of May. Of course, he has not driven in cars, in racing cars, for almost a full year since he raced here. That's his wife, Katie, there. Of course, a look of disbelief. What could you be thinking at this point? They weren't even up to medium speed. It had to have been some incredible mechanical problem. You're looking at the team there of Kenny Bernstein. We're going to see him on the middle of the screen there. Absolutely inexplicable.
The only thing that one might consider, Bobby indicated to us, Bobby Unser, how cold it is, and because of that, look, the car is damaged.
Yeah, no question, he's out of the race.
The tires may not have come up to full temperature, and maybe with that high torque engine, when he shifted gears, just suddenly.
Well, I keep hoping. Fortunately, it cost us the race. I mean, I feel so bad for the whole Quaker State people, the Buick people, the whole King Motorsports team. You know, everybody worked so hard, and you know, being on the pole and we didn't even get to take the green flag. It's you know, it's a tough one. I don't really know.
What was the emotional feeling though when it happened, when that car snapped around? What was the feeling in the gut?
Well, at that time I was still hoping it was a nightmare and I was going to wake up, and that's all. I mean, obviously very disappointed, but Roberto Guerrero will bounce back again.
Time and time again he does, Paul Page.
And Eddie Cheever moves to the front as the 76th running of Indy is underway. And look at Mario and Michael Andretti. They split and go around Eddie Cheever. The Andrettis are in the lead.
Well, had been a feud between Cheever and the Andrettis, and boy, did the Andrettis take care of that feud in a hurry.
Aerial bombs sound out overhead, indicating position of the cars on the in the low 50s. The green flag comes out once again, and Eddie Cheever is now challenged by Scott Brayton. And Michael comes to the inside. They're three abreast, heading for the first turn. And Michael wins the contest. Brayton slides into second place. Cheever is now fourth.
There's a display of horsepower by the Buick with Scott Brayton at the wheel, but I should tell you, the Buick, of course, is a six-cylinder engine, and only twice in racing history, including that first race back in 1911.
Bobby. There's the spin.
Yes.
Relive catches the wall.
Oh.
Stan had nowhere to go. Wow.
And Stan was almost into a spin himself trying to miss him. There was nothing he could do, but I can't imagine how lucky that Stan Fox and Gash are that he didn't plug him right in the middle.
Yeah.
Watch this now. Oh, watch this. Doesn't show it as good there, but he was in a drift trying to go to the left to miss him. Very close.
You know, that's accelerates and pulls away from the rest of the field. Boy, look at the advantage he got on that restart.
Oh, he got a run at him, clear back at turn 3, Paul. He got about a 2-city block head start on him there.
For all intents and purposes, this is a one-man race right now.
You saw a flash of what looked like smoke there for a second, and we've got an accident. Several cars.
Holy smokes. One of the Penske cars.
It looks to be Fittipaldi.
Emerson.
It's in the middle of the turn.
Now watch this as we ride with Mario. Waiting for the green to come out. The field strung out through the third turn now. The short chute is ahead.
But you just don't want to know. You just don't want to look. Oh.
Back end just came loose.
Yo.
Oh.
Boy, that gives you an idea how hard they hit here. Left there, you can tell them because we don't have so many lookalikes in the race.
10 of the 12 Buicks that started this race are out, but one of them, in Al Unser's car, runs in 4th place. The other belongs to John Paul Jr. He currently runs at 9th.
Aboard Al Unser Jr. in 3rd place. You're seeing what it looks like to go about 230 miles an hour.
According to our calculations up here in the booth, little Al didn't need to stop the last time. He could have done one more stop to the end and stayed in front and raced Michael.
When Rick Gallis said they'd done that, you didn't look too happy about it.
No, I think it was a bad decision. I don't think Rick did right on that one. In fact, I'm pretty sure he didn't, but he often sees things through a different set of eyes, and maybe he had other good reasons for it, Paul.
You know, as you reported, Scott Goodyear in 2nd. Realize he started this race dead last.
Absolutely. Took the car that was qualified by Mike Roth. It was a prior agreement that if Scott Goodyear got pushed out of the race, that he would take over Mike Roth's car. That's exactly what he did. Started 33rd, now runs in 2nd.
He did, and Jim O'Donnell, the owner of that day, the guy that sponsors it, has got to be one happy man because he knows he has a good race driver in Scott Goodyear.
Deja vu.
Tom Sneva drove from 33rd to 2nd in 1980. Will Scott Goodyear be the second man to do that, or maybe 33rd to 1st?
Remember 3 years ago in 1989?
On the ejectors for every cylinder, plus the old monovalve butterfly in the back. So that's 7 for the engine, made it a lot more drivable. Easier to start the races and all.
Boy, look at Danny. Wide open eyes as he checks this information that comes up on his dash panel, a computer-generated display for him. Look at the speed.
Watch the throttle over here. This is an interesting, where it says throttle. That's percent of the throttle being open. There's 98%. The 98% would be 100, incidentally. They're off just a tick. But look at it going through the turns, and look where the car's going at the same time. Now, during qualification, some of the practice deals, it would be 100% all the way around. But he's down to 40% there at times.
Those are lateral G's. It's the first time we've seen that in real time. Now, there's no lateral G's on the main straightaway. Watch, though, as he turns into the corner.
Here we go.
Up to 3.1. That's a bunch. You know, if you pull 2.5 G's in an airplane, you think your head's going to go down with your feet.
3 times his body weight, which means that helmet and everything around him is the same increase.
I talked to Danny Sullivan the other day when he got back after a few days in Aspen. He went home for a while, and I said, you know, you got a pretty good chance in this race. And he said, I would be happy with 5th. I think
now
he's going to be very happy with what's happening.
Over there, and you'll see that he has 2 gears also, like Michael would have, Sam. One for going and one for cruising. He's in the cruise gear right now.
Michael, these are long shots at best that are now running among the leaders. If you go back to the start of the race, you could not have envisioned something like this. But if Michael does go on to win, incidentally, he has become much better with the press and the media. He used to not really care or put any energy into it, certainly not like his dad, Mario, but he was on the Letterman show last year. He did really well, and of course, if he wins this one, we'll see him on a lot of stuff.
There's little Al on board. You can look at how hard the wind is buffeting his head. That gives you an idea. The Lolas have not done well with that wind. I think I mentioned that earlier. There's a dad right behind him, really really pushing hard. He's going to start putting the pressure on, because remember, the Buick does really have more horsepower than Little Al.
And there goes Big Al inside, a Little Al, and picks it up. Whoa!
I guess that was pretty good, and I wasn't trying to, Paul.
So Big Al moves up a position, takes up third place.
I started to say Little Al's engine is the older Chevrolet, what we call the A. I already told Little Al that, and he's counting on the traffic. But there he goes by it.
And there's Big Al making
Look
a
at Big Al
move.
take it back. Big Al gets it back. All right. Al saw that one coming. Boy, there's a veteran move.
That's the first time Michael has been passed in anger all day long.
And I'll bet anger is a word that figures in Michael's cockpit.
Where
right
did
now.
that come from?
That's good racing. That was a good pass.
Michael did get a little bit caught there. Don't you agree, behind Cheever, and that gave Al a run at him. But even so, we'll see how quickly he can counterattack.
Well, plus drafting helps an awful lot. Plus that Buick engine, we know that has a lot of power, and he gets it running. Michael, there's no way he's going to do anything but go right on by, which he did.
So this is the fight for second place. Sandy Andretti is having one very long day. Big Al almost out of nowhere. Now here comes Michael back to the inside, and Michael takes Big Al.
Yeah, the way those things like that happen so easy, where it looked like Michael had so much power. He has two gears in the transmission. One to turn a lot of RPM, which makes him move a lot faster, and the other...
What should be his final stop of the race. Remember, they had a fuel refill problem on the last stop. Let's see if this one comes away clean, Jack.
He says he just hates the pit stops. It's where things can go wrong.
And also keep in mind, all the other cars are going to have to pit also. There's another pit stop coming for everybody. So Michael's just making his first.
Fuel goes into the car.
On goes that last set of good tires that he was saving that Jack told us about
These
earlier.
are the ones that Jack said should be the best, Jackaroo.
Paul, what we've had is a very good pit stop, and let me tell you, they had no problem with the fuel, so he's off and away.
17 seconds in and out, second place car. Scott Goodyear also in and out, his final stop.
And that squirt of water that you saw go on there, that's for any spilled alcohol. Water dissolves the alcohol quick, so they give it that shot just in case.
To a stop at the Gallus Craco pits. 1.2 miles an hour. 11 laps to go in the Indy 500, and Michael is slowing. Michael is slowing. The rest of the field is coming past. Michael Andretti is slowing down. Unser Jr. will take the lead as Michael Andretti slows down at Indianapolis. An unbelievable turn of events. The man who has dominated this race on the 189th lap. Suddenly the car slows and Michael appears to be done.
Paul, that is another Andretti thing. It's sad for Michael. I have never seen a race driver in my life that deserves this race more than Michael Andretti, and he isn't even going to make it back to the pits.
There come the leaders, first and second. Unser Jr., Scott Goodyear, and we've got a whale of a race. Sweeney's white flag, 2.5 miles, one more lap to go. If Scott Goodyear has a chance, the time is now. Don't forget 10 years ago, John Cox and Rick Mears raced on the last lap for the finish. John Cox won that one. That was experience over Rick Mears' relative inexperience. Will that happen again here today? They're on the backstretch. 223 miles an hour on the last lap.
No traffic involved.
They make the turn for home now. On the main stretch, Scott Goodyear closes in. He looks for a place to come by. Scott Goodyear tries it, but no.
I believe that's the closest finish in Indy history. Closer than the race 10 years ago when Gordon...
He has sought for so many years a 3rd and 89 2/4, and Unser Jr., welcome to Indianapolis 500 history. You finally got one.
Thank you very much. I tell you, I almost took it a little too easy off turn 4, but we got it. We got it. You got it.
This says a lot right here. These two men that have worked so hard.
You did it, partner! And I almost took it too easy off 4, and Scott got a run on me, but but I just want to thank everybody, my crew doing super pit stops, and my sponsor Valvoline, and everybody. I tell you.
Hey, when you were a kid, Al, you waited for this moment. You dreamt about it, to take the swig of milk, emblematic of winning the Indy 500. Al, let me ask you. The one question, though, is all month.
All right, Al.
All all month, nobody talked about your chances to win the Indy 500. Did you think you had a chance?
No, not really. You know, Michael had us covered all day, and the Ford Lola Cosworths just outrun us bad all day, and so, you know, the best we could do was best in class, and
there's a lot of. It sounds like there's some tears in your voice right now.
Well, you just don't know what Indy means.
Yeah, look at your feet. Raise your arm up. One arm. There you go.